O1, ChatGPT's O1, for a fraction of the cost. And OpenAI and Anthropic are spending $60 to $100 million and rising for their models. Those accidents that occur very infrequently.
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.
On a public blockchain. So if that happened, we'd see incredible transparency, more security, as they're finding a lot of holes in the security, certainly at Treasury in the United States, and arguably more efficiency in a peer-to-peer ecosystem.
But isn't the government sector reaching out to companies like Palantir, for instance, for their services? And that has been the success. We don't know what it is that they actually are providing. Maybe you could shed some light on that, but it seems like they are reaching out for technological solutions.
Yes, I think the defense sector is where that all started. And if you're hearing all the publicity out of our defense sector, it hasn't passed an audit, I think, in 7 years. So it has a long way to go. But in terms of Palantir's role, and this would be true of any large corporation, I think Palantir will do very well in very bureaucratic parts of organizations. Problems in terms of making companies more productive and efficient. So we think AI would increase its traction during a downturn as companies try and figure out ways to limit employment growth by increasing productivity. And so AI has hit escape velocity. Others that would be similarly impacted because of AI are healthcare and education, as I mentioned. As the government dollars dry up, it forces government entities and corporations to become more efficient. When we started 10 years ago, the 5 technologies around which we centered our research, so robotics, energy storage, AI, blockchain technology, and multi-omic sequencing in the life science space, none of them were anywhere near O1, ChatGPT's O1, for a fraction of the cost. Now, we don't know exactly how much pre-training went into this, but in terms of the $6 million versus 60 to 100 million in the US, the last part of that large language model was built and developed on a high-performance workstation. High-performance workstations use fewer GPUs, obviously, compared to data centers. And so the question is AI starting to move towards the edge? And it's a big question. We see pendulum swings from centralized to decentralized all the time, from mainframes to PCs, from servers in every corporation to the cloud, and now maybe cloud back to workstations. That's the big question here. And the reason it's so big is because of the at the right time in the right place. I think that the consumer applications create a virtuous cycle as ChatGPT excited consumers. Corporations said, "Oh my gosh, what is this? We need to get into the new age." So I think it'll be a virtuous cycle: consumer, corporations, and so forth.
Now, with the final question I have with regards to AI as a subject, how do you anticipate DeepSeek's adoption in Western markets compared to China, where the government is investing heavily in AI and has its own set of competing technologies? What strategies are in place to overcome regional barriers to adoption in light of trade wars and in light of Trump coming into office?
Yes, it's been very interesting to watch TikTok, for example, President Trump being much more friendly to
Correct.
TikTok than the Biden, and OpenAI and Anthropic are spending $60 to $100 million and
Right.
rising for their models. In terms of the data that it's able to collect about US consumers and corporations to the extent they harness DeepSeek, that I think our government will look into as a national security risk. But it was interesting to hear Amazon on its earnings conference call last week, praise DeepSeek and basically they said, we are offering it to our client base. So the administration will have to be very explicit. They have not been. And until they are, our companies who offer services, web services like AWS, are probably going to offer DeepSeek.
Moving on subjects and now towards electric vehicles, something that I know.
Those accidents that occur very infrequently, Tesla is able to do that while very few other companies would be able to, mostly because they've seen everything. Their cars have seen everything. They've had all kinds of storms around the world. They've seen all kinds of stop signs, which are different in different parts of the world. And so this is giving Tesla an edge in terms of autonomous mobility, which we believe is winner take most. So in the US, if you look at, and you'll see in our Big Ideas 2025, we just put it out last week, and it's on our website, arc-invest.com. In 2014, when we started the company, we listed the companies that were going after autonomy. Only 2 are left from that original 10. Tesla, which was much delayed, and just now starting to make noise about autonomous. The company that is copying Tesla's strategy on autonomy much more is XPeng. And so I believe they just dropped radar and LiDAR, just like Tesla has, and have even come out and said, we believe Tesla's strategy is the right strategy. So we're watching them. We're watching XPeng closely. We cannot dismiss BYD for sure. But one of the reasons I think China allowed Tesla in to its country without a local partner is it wanted to reverse engineer everything that Tesla does. And that has done so successfully and helped other local players. We believe it will do the same with autonomy. But we also know that China and Tesla, or Tesla is being allowed to operate, my professor, former professor from USC and friend, Art Laffer, who's well known for the Laffer curve, said to me when we first started looking at Bitcoin in 2014 and 15, he said, and we collaborated with him on our first paper called Bitcoin, Can It Serve the 3 Roles of Money? He said, when he understood what it was, he said, this is what I've been waiting for since the US closed the gold window in 1971. So that's more than 50 years ago. This, he believes, and we believe, is the first digital, global, private, meaning no government oversight, no throat to choke, decentralized, and perhaps most important, rules-based monetary system in history. That is a very big idea. Now, what's happening is the developed world system, a new asset class, and a technology. Now, I don't know if Bitcoin would be the right blockchain technology for the government to use if it were going to put all of the government's transactions on the system. Probably wouldn't be, but it could be. Let's see what happens. Of course, Elon has been a fan of the crypto asset Doge, D-O-G-E. That's why he named the government efficiency Doge. So that may have something to do with this. Doge is a fork of Bitcoin, interestingly. And while we believe Bitcoin is the real deal in terms of this global monetary system, you never know what this fork of Bitcoin might accomplish.
And my final question, again on Bitcoin. ARK Invest has a strong position in Bitcoin and blockchain technology. How do you balance the long-term potential of these assets with a short?
What is this opportunity? It's the convergence of three of the major technologies around which we have centered our research: robots, energy storage, and artificial intelligence. Just like autonomous vehicles, humanoid robots are the same three sets of technologies. And then, as I mentioned, and I'll close out, because in terms of profound impacts, the idea that AI is going to be a tool used along with sequencing technologies like single cell sequencing. We have 37 trillion cells in our bodies. Now that we can sequence those cells, the idea that the convergence of sequencing, AI, and gene editing techniques can evolve to cure disease is going to prolong human life and, increase the quality of life for people with 4,000 rare diseases out there. It's